Hi guys, my name is Gillian and welcome to Puppet Master the Game. Now, one thing that I have noticed since the interactive trailer is apparently the interactive trailer is incredibly loud because I just did a little practice with this to see if I could hear myself. And I can't turn the volume down to the interactive trailer. Well, anyway, this is Puppet Master the Game. Just to do a little recap, I'm going to go over the characters and a little bit about them. Okay, these guys are Nazi agents that were sent to America to go after Andre Toulon, who created the puppets, and they are after his secret to life. They don't play a huge role in the first movie, but they do play a major role in the 9th movie, which takes place before the first movie. The timeline for the Puppet Master movies is a little bit wonky in comparison to a lot of other things. Here, let me show you what these guys have. He just has a gun, but when you're playing 3 against 1, you're able to pick up a variety of weapons and use them. And over here, it just talks a little bit more about what I said. A Nazi spy, sent to steal Andre Toulon's secret formula and learn how he animates his puppets. Your career as an entertainer is over, Herr Toulon. And then, of course, you got your health, agility, speed, strength, stealth. This is your weapon. The gun holds up to 8 rounds, and it's hard to use at close range if you're a puppet. But since you're mainly attacking the puppets when you're humans, you want to definitely be at a distance, you have better aim with it. But if the puppets get too close, you can use a kick, which knocks them away, ragdolls them for a few seconds, which is very helpful when you're a human. That it allows you to run away or attack them. And smack, now, when I've played solo, I haven't really seen this used against me, but apparently this will knock out a puppet for 3 seconds, causing minor damages. Now here's the fun stuff, the skins. A lot of the characters have good skins, some characters have meh skins, so I'll show you all of them. This is how he looks in the game. An alternate would be the gray coat, yellow coat, which actually makes him look like Dick Tracy. Red coat, which actually isn't all that bad. Prototype coat, which I actually like a lot. And then the reanimated Halloween skin. I hate that it's 10,000 points. That's how much a lot of these Halloween skins are. Mainly because they look awesome. The green that you're seeing is from the formula, actually. Okay, here we got Dana Hadley. She's a sidekick from the first movie. Her weapon is just a wine bottle. Let's see if it shows up here. Here we go. Wine bottle. Again, you can pick up a variety of weapons. Then she has the normal kick and smack. Then effigy reveals nearby puppets that are within range. Now, if you can ever... This is good whether you are doing a single player or not. Unfortunately, as far as I'm aware of, there isn't anything where there's multiple humans at once, which sucks, because this would be a great ally towards a lot of them. Now let's take a look at those skins. This is her basic form. What's this one? Dark. gold. A lot of gold with these characters too, by the way. Megan, who, this is her outfit. Obviously not a skin change as much as it is a costume change. And Megan is the wife of Gallagher from the first movie, who is pretty much a jerk and the villain. This is how she looks like in the movie. As you can see, PM1 means Puppet Master 1. This is an outfit she wears. She also wears this one as well, so it's just pretty much with the coat on. Then here's the reanimated version. Now the interesting thing is, in the first movie, Gallagher plans on not only killing his friends, but bringing them back. So, from the looks of this one, it looks like somebody did eventually bring her back after she started rotting, compared to in the first movie. Now here is Neil Gallagher, the villain of the first movie. His weapon is a crowbar, which he really doesn't use any weapons in the movie. He mainly just uses his fists and feet when he does end up fighting. Nothing special with his abilities. His skins, though, on the other hand, are amazing. At least the final two. So this is his basic form. Him in a silver outfit. Salmon, which really looks like the Joker. Velvet. Not too terrible. This is from Alex Whitaker, who's the main character of the first movie. This is how Neil Gallagher looked like in Alex Whitaker's dream. And here's a reanimated Halloween version of him. So after he is killed, he's pretty much brought back from, according to that little story, which is very interesting because in the Puppet Master comics, which try to bridge the gaps that the movies leave, which kind of works, kind of doesn't. He actually does come back a second time. So the fact that they actually did a little spin based around that idea is pretty cool. And I just love this. Now her, Martha, she is from Puppet Master 2, a rural farmer who lives near the Bodega Bay Inn. They say Satan's got a suite of rooms in that, and brimstone comes out of the chimneys at night, and it smells like roasted entrails. Okay, I forgot how cheesy some of these lines can be. She isn't seen too often in the second movie, but her death definitely is the most unique from it. So, her weapon here is a frying pan, which kind of stinks because she uses the frying pan against one puppet, but she also has and uses a gun. So I'm surprised they didn't give her that, but like the rest of the things, you can pick them up. So, let's take a look. You never really see her in this outfit, though. Well, actually you might. And here's the flower outfit. A Hague outfit. Just an alternate form, or alternate costume. This is what she uses during her final battle in the second movie, because the puppets come at night. And here's her reanimated form. Very, very awesome. And then this one, this is new. A Watcher. Now, the skin gives them two different versions of the Watcher. This one, the mummy, is from the 9th Puppet Master movie, Retro Puppet Master, which is the oldest of the movies, chronologically speaking. Resurrected undead mummy servant of Sutek, solely tasked with eliminating anyone who tries to steal Sutek's secret of life. It's time to rise. It's time to kill. And they kind of speak almost in a monotone voice throughout the movie too. Also, not all... Okay! They have a femur bone as a weapon. Interesting. They also have their... I was gonna say hand, but this is interesting. Ebony skull. Okay, can ragdoll Pinhead within a small radius. Okay, so he has 2 weapons. Technically 3 weapons. Because in the movie, they never really use weapons. What they have is what you can actually see here. You see he's not wearing any gloves. Well, that's because he has the power to take life. And for whatever reason, you can only use that power if you're not wearing a glove. The power of Sutek. You can project demonic energy that detonates on impact. Now, that doesn't really happen in the film. What happens in the film is it's kind of like the effects look like heat waves hitting you, and it eventually kills you. But this is actually pretty cool as well. Now, here's the skins. This one I don't really care for. The coats are the ones that I like the most. Although this one is pretty cool. It kind of makes him look like a vampire. Then this is a watcher from Puppet Master 4, one of Sutek's servants who puts their soul into one of the totems, and instead of just being in a single body, it's shared, it's symbiotic. And if the totem dies, then the watcher gets killed as well, which is a bit of a catch-52 with that, but oh man, do I love the design. Okay, moving on. I'm going to save the puppets and the demonic toys momentarily. This is the Totem Warrior. These are the things that the Watchers go into. These guys don't really have any weapons. They just have their claws. And then they can block. And then they can bite. The bite is okay, but it's a charging attack. So you have to actually hold it. Now, as you can see, the claws are the main weapons, but you can change the color of the helmet. So right now it's on default, bloody, alternate blood. Not really as good. Some of these aren't the greatest, as you can tell. Chrome and gold. And the skins aren't all that interesting. Here's the totem. Here's a bloody version of him. The bloody versions of all of these are actually pretty good. Now, the only difference between the Totem Warrior and the alt is just the wrist guards. One is thinner, one is thicker. And then, of course, that. So, yeah, not a whole lot of difference when you look at them, unfortunately. These things are new, the headhunters. They have a spear, of course, which you can throw. And then the Eye of Sutek, which, if you drop it, like it says, it reveals nearby prey that's within its 20-meter range. Now, these are pretty cool because Here's Rust, Bloody, Chrome, and Gold. Gold isn't really the best with all of these, but it's not bad with some of them. Then, of course, the skins. This is the regular Headhunter, Bloody version, which you will find on the puppets and the totems. And I think that, yeah, and the demonic toys. Then the Reaper, which is a pretty cool design. Then right here you got the Totem Ravenger, who has ritual daggers as weapons. He also has a blow dart for ranged attacks. And then you can headshot an enemy puppet and it'll inflict critical damage with Shredder. Now this is pretty cool with his weapons, because that's the default, which can look like bone. Dirty. Bloody, even though you can't really see it. Chrome. Gold. Then the swords. I'm not going to try and pronounce that because I will butcher that. Then these weapons are actually unique because they belong to a different puppet, which is actually a part of his skins. So this is what the Totem Ravager looks like. Bloody, the Minion, which is actually pretty cool in and of itself, and then the Homunculus. Now the Homunculus is a very minor puppet seen in Puppet Master 2. Not a whole lot to it since we don't really see a whole lot, but some pretty nice swords, very nice design. Just like all these do have nice designs to them, just not always a good alternate costume. Then this is Mephisto, and again, a puppet from Puppet Master 2. Like the Homunculus, he's only seen in a flashback. Now, he doesn't really do anything as the puppet itself is not possessed in the movie. In this game, however, they decide to use the crystal ball to shoot fire, which is not good. Out of all of the totem characters, he is by far the weakest. He can also shoot a large fireball, but if you miss and it goes too far, it's not going to do jack, unfortunately. Then his weapon is just these damaged, bloody, chrome, gold. This is one of the only times where where the gold is actually pronounced, which is pretty nice. Now there is a couple of skins that I actually like. Well, actually, this is pretty cool as well. It looks more damaged than bloody. But the Pyromancer, which I am actually working on getting, absolutely love the design. And then this is the Full Moon Toys exclusive version. Back in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, they had some Puppet Master toys. This is actually designed. This alternate costume is actually based on one of those toy designs. Same with this one, Death. Now, not a whole lot different from the others outside of this little mark. My second favorite outside of this one, though, is the Crystal toy version, because I actually do like how the head almost looks invisible with it. Now, you can do different emotes. A lot of them is just like pointing. These are all majority for your team, but some for the opposing team. Now some of these, as you can see, are just generic, and then other times they have one specific for that puppet. Yeah, and then that, which is pretty cool. Now watch this. I'm gonna see if I can't do that. Keep him, and then boom. Love that. And this is just the basic Halloween thing. Now, not a lot of these characters, totems, as you can see, have anything special, any special emotes for themselves. This one is, here, let me go back. This is Sutek in Puppet Master 5. He gets desperate and pissed off to the extent where he puts himself in a symbiotic state with his very own puppet, and which is, as you can see, a lot more powerful and evil looking, kind of kingly even. So of course he has his claws. He has a death charge, which doesn't really do anything except for speed you up. You can, if you're close enough, you can hit your opponent with it, but it's mainly just to help you walk a little faster. Death Lightning, on the other hand, if you can actually hit your opponent, you can actually do some pretty good damage. And then this one I actually like, because this ability prevents him from being knocked out by pushes and kicks, unlike the majority of the other puppets and toys. So again, it's just his crown. Not a whole lot special going on there. So yeah, not a whole lot going on for him. Yes, he does have an emote, which is that. He also has this emote, showing off his power, which is just terrific. Not a whole lot of interesting skins for him, though. His basic one is probably my favorite. Bloody, all it does is really darken him. The blood isn't fully as pronounced just due to the skin color that he has. And even when it's on the mask, it almost looks more like mud. So I think if they do another patch, they need to actually make the blood look more like blood, and maybe that's why it's not as pronounced on the rest of his body, because it just looks like mud that he played around in. Okay, I stand corrected. I actually do like this one. This is one of the Foam and Toys versions of him. Not as good. Okay, that makes him just look like a skeleton. So, on to the puppets. First up, we have Blade. His weapons, as you can see, is a hook and a knife. He also has a little dash ability. And his Evil Eye, which I don't know why they called it Evil Eye. I get what the ability does. It shoots out, even though you can't see it here, he has bullet eyes. And this ability allows you to see prey through the walls for 3 seconds. Now, in the movies, he doesn't have the ability to see through walls, but the bullet eyes are pretty cool, and I see what they were going for, because they wanted to make sure that stayed in the game, and I love them for it. Now, he has quite a few different emotes, so I'll show them to you. Now, this emote is something we actually see in the movies, which is pretty cool. Same with this one. And this one. And those, as you can see, are mainly aimed at the opponents. And of course, here's the Halloween thing, and then you have all of the regular emotes. Now, these are his regular Rusty, Bloody, which is pretty cool. You can see the blood pronounced on it a bit. The rust kind of needs to look a little bit deeper, I think, but otherwise not too terrible. Chrome. Now, I do have mixed feelings on the Chrome, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Here's the gold, which is definitely one of the ones to where that I said the gold isn't as good on them. Then here is his comic book appearance with his weapons. They're almost the exact same, except one is a little darker than the other. But both of them could be easily look like they're from comics. Now, this is pretty cool because with the Halloween one, if you saved up for it, he has a little sickle going on, which is pretty awesome. And then, can I access that? Nope, can't access that. If you get into the DLCs and stuff, you get a hook and you can get a hook and a hatchet for him too. Otherwise, this is what he looks like with that. Here's the different skins. This is his base form for the game. Is him Bloody. Puppet Master 3, which is a very good movie. Again, if you like low-budget horror films, Puppet Master 3 is a prequel to the first two movies, which is why Blade looks as different as he does here. It's because this marks his first canon appearance in the movies. And then this is his toy appearance. Now what makes that interesting is if we... Let's see if I can see... There we go. There we go. Instead of seeing the bullets, you get eyes. Eyes, of course. Light up eyes, because that's how they did it with the toys. Since they didn't have bullets, they just went with that. And here's another one of the toys. Another one which I thoroughly enjoyed back when I saw pictures when they first started appearing online, and I wish I would have known about this, because this is one of them I would have gotten. Same with this one, but this one, I think you could probably only get in Japan, but I could be mistaken. This was the Japanese variant toy, which I think is rather cool. Then this is from Puppet Master 6, Curse of the Puppet Master, and compared to the regular Bloody, I love this. I love how much the blood is pronounced on the character in comparison. Let's actually even look at the comparison. This is Curse of the Puppet Master. This is just Bloody Blade. Nothing on his weapons, only a little bit on half of his body, but then, boom! Still nothing really on his weapons. But just look at that. It is everywhere. And then his Halloween version, which actually looks very similar to his appearance in the remake, which is called Puppet Master The Littlest Reich. And this is one of the forms Blade has. There's multiple versions of Blade in the movie, and he looks very similar to that. And this is his comic appearance. Now, as much as I like the comic appearances, they're a little too dark, in my opinion. Now, it will work great in the gameplay, I believe, because especially if the map is dark or shadowy, Blade can definitely blade in the other puppets, can definitely hide when they're using their comic appearances, can easily hide in the shadows. This one, though, is one of my personal favorites. This is the movie edition, which is essentially how he looks like in the very first movie. Gonna equip that again. Then this is Tunneler. Of course, as you can see, his main weapon is his drill. Now, the thing about him is, unlike Blade, who can just whack, whack, whack with his weapons, Tunneler, you actually have to charge the drill, and it only goes for so long. I believe it's 100 seconds. So not too terribly long, but it is pretty good with the weapon, with the drill. Now, I do like this version of the Rust because it actually looks rusty. I love when the skin actually looks like how it's supposed to. Bloody one, I do like that, although I do wish that blood was more on the face, but maybe on the skins it will be. Chrome drill, which is pretty cool. Gold, again, you can see it, but it's not as good. Cruel. Okay, these are new. We just had an update, I believe, today, and so some of these things I'm just now seeing, such as this one, which is actually not that bad. It kind of looks like the blood has a nice sheen on it there. Golden Bloody. Okay, that's pretty cool. Then, of course, the comic drill. Now, let's take a look at the skins, which he has a lot of. This is basic Tunneler and a bit of how he looks like in the movies. Bloody Tunneler. Okay, yep, I was right. It does go onto the face and the rest of him. So that, with the bloody drill, would actually look really cool. Stealth Tunneler, I see what they're going for, but because of the comic appearance, I wouldn't really call this stealthy. And this is the one I currently have, which is his appearance in Puppet Master 4. And by the way, anything with gold around it is legendary, so that's going to cost a pretty penny. For the most part. This is one of the toy versions. Cruel version. Okay, that looks just like the Cruel but bloodied. Another of the toy ones. Okay, it's just a little bit darker, and then his comic. Now this one looks more like stealth than it does comic, but I see what they're going for. Stealth is black, and black is what people use for stealth. But if you want stealth in the actual game, this is what you're going to want to use. 8,000 points, though. This is Jester. He has actually 3 things. He has a knife, which is pretty cool. And you can change the skin to be another weapon. Unfortunately, I don't have the DLC for it, but it's his scepter. This is his secondary weapon, and yeah, as you can see, it's a dart. You can fling it. Nothing more to say about that. This thing, on the other hand, the elixir, you can actually use this to heal your fellow puppets when you're playing. So if they need some health, he's basically the healer. Now he has some pretty good skins too. I haven't taken a look at all the skins since the update. Regular form, Bloody Jester, his movie appearance. Now the funny thing is, Puppet Master 1 is the only time where he's not seen with his Jester hat. He's actually seen only in one scene with the Jester hat in the first movie, but that's mainly in the shadows. You just see a shadow of him with the hat on. Otherwise, throughout the entire movie, no hat, but they fixed that in the rest of the movies. Here's his toy appearance, which is just a bit more colorful. Another toy, the normal gold. Another toy, which actually isn't too bad. Curse of the Puppet Master version, which, as you can see, especially with here, a lot more colorful. Polka Dot and Comic, which is actually quite close to how he looks like in the comic, actually. Now, he does have some emotes, and I'll go back to Tumblr quick to show his emotes as well. Now, here's the cool thing. You can actually change his facial expression with the emotes. And then this is actually how he looks towards the end of the first movie. He ends up getting thrown hard and he breaks a little bit. And that's what happens when he breaks. So okay, let's go back to Tumblr so I can show you his emotes. He only has one for himself. This looks especially cool if you have a bloody version of the drill, since the little wipe is bloody. This here's Pinhead, buff little guy, and I don't think I need to tell you why he's called Pinhead. No weapons outside of his hands. Oh no, correction. He has his fists. He has a wrench, which you can change to a poker, which I'm gonna do. Okay, rusty poker, bloody, chrome. Yeah, you can't really tell the difference with that. He also has different wrenches. Okay, that actually looks like a golden wrench. Comic wrench. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then another one of his abilities is throwing a brick. Here's his different skins. Bloody movie version. Toys. Now the funny thing with the Halloween stuff is they actually did release a Halloween toy of Pinhead, which is pretty cool. So it actually matches their little Halloween thing. And the game itself came out with a Halloween costume for him as well. Then here's his Curse of the Puppet Master costume. As you can see, it's very similar to the movie. The only real difference is the piece of gum and the eye. You can actually see more of the eye in comparison. Then his comic appearance. Now he does have his own emotes as well, so we'll take a look at those. And he is the strongest of the puppets, physically speaking. He can actually drag a full-grown human with no problems whatsoever. Love that. Then this lady right here is Leech Woman, Andre Toulon's wife. Lives inside. And her weapons are, of course, a knife, but she also has a projectile weapon, which is a leech, which I have no problem showing. I like those. Okay, let's take a look at her skins. Regular form, bloody form, toy form, Puppet Master 2. Now this one is called the Furnace because the human woman that I saw that I said had a gun ended up hitting her with a frying pan, knocking her down, allowing her to be picked up and thrown into a small furnace. This is what they chose the design to look like, as if she ended up escaping from the furnace. Gold, which is just for the dress. Black. Geisha. Her Halloween costume, which not only looks like a witch, but also looks like Sally from Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, which is pretty cool. Then here's her comic form. And then this is what she looks like in the third movie. How she managed to go from that to that is something I'll never understand. But her changing clothes, I guess, isn't too far out there. Then this bad boy is Torch. Yeah. He has a very burning passion for killing. Now, as you can see, this form right here for this emote doesn't look like Torch, and there's a reason for it. In the skins, you can actually transform Torch into another character from Curse of the Puppet Master. So we'll take a look at that. I don't know why it keeps taking me to the bottom there. So this is his base form. Bloody, even though that doesn't really make any sense. There is no blood when he's done with you. Stealth Torch. This is how Torch looks towards the end of Puppet Master 2. Really like this. I'll probably unlock that soon too. Toy form. Toy form. Gold form. Comic form. And then the Freak. The Freak is from Puppet Master 6, but instead of having this, he ends up having a hand, which you can also give to Torch, but I think it just does the exact same thing. As you can see, that goes great with him. So I'll go through with the weapons. Unfortunately, I do not have the DLC for this. The default rust, which actually doesn't look too bad, though I kind of wish the rust would go with the face as well. This is pretty nice, but you don't really get to see it too good. At least here you don't. Little fire stickers. Chrome, which kind of makes it just look like a tin can. Gold, which isn't as pronounced. Army, which is pretty cool. Of course, the hand. And then the comic version of it. And then, this fella here is 6-shooter. He has one weapon, which are 6 guns, 6 bullets. Then he also has a lasso ability, which can temporarily stun an enemy for a short time. He has some emotes. which are pretty cool. And then, of course, let's see. Default guns, rusty guns, black guns, which are my personal favorite, and you'll see why soon. Chrome, gold, comic. This is how he looks like in Puppet Master 3. Again, he doesn't really have any blood on him either in the movie, but I believe he does in later movies. Then this is how he looks like in the 10th Puppet Master movie. And this is why I like the black guns. It goes really cool with the black outfit. Then here's him, Toy Him. Another version of the toy 6-shooter. Japanese variant. Giddy Up, which looks like a parody of Woody from Toy Story, and I'm just now noticing that. His Halloween costume, 10,000 bloody points. That is going to take me a while to get, because I want to unlock it. And then, of course, the comic version, which is probably one of the best comic puppet that there is. Then last but not least, we have Decapitron. Technically 3 different weapons. Right here, what you see is not exactly what you get. So, he has, as you can see, he has 2 guns on his head. No movie or even this game are they ever used. That is because Decapitron is based on an old idea for a movie that Full Moon had wanted to do. Since it didn't go under, they just turned him into a puppet for the movies and kept the guns because my guess is they just look good. His main weapon is right here, which all 4 of these beams charge electricity, which shoots him to the sphere, which shoots out a giant bolt of lightning, which can one-shot an opponent right to the ground. Very powerful, and the most powerful of the puppets. His only emote, but he also has 3 different weapons. This is his most powerful form just solely because he can one-shot you. Rust, which looks actually rusty. Bloody, which is pretty cool. Chrome, looks futuristic. Gold, actually pronounced. Stealth, you don't really need stealth for a head like that. Then comic. Then, like Torch, he also can turn into a puppet from the 6th movie, Curse of the Puppet Master. And I'll show you the full part of it, but right here is the head of that character, whose name is Tank. I'll show you what Tank's skin looks like, because it is different from the movie. But let's move on to the other heads. This is the default head. This one is mainly used for speed. Nothing else really much to it. You can heal another puppet with it, but I mainly just use it for speed. His attack is not his head, but his hands, which, well, if you are standing still and you use it, it shoots out electricity that stays in just that area. But if you're moving when you shoot it, it actually moves, which isn't a very powerful attack because you could easily miss. So here's a rusty version, bloody, chrome, gold, stealth, comic, and this is Andre Toulon. He is the one that actually inhabits this puppet. Then this head is really cool. Right up here is his attack, which is pretty much a a multiple laser gun. You can shoot a few different lasers out from it to hit opponents, though they are weaker. You can't one-shot anybody from it. And then these eyes actually allow you to see through walls to see opponents, which is pretty awesome. So here's the different skins for that. And his Halloween, which is actually pretty cool. Okay, this is what Tank looks like in the game, or at least his body. Let's see if I can... Oop. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? Okay. Ah, there we go. This is how Tank looks like in the game. In the movie, though the head is correct, the rest of him only goes down so far, and then the rest of his body actually looks like a tank, hence the name. On here though, they didn't really want to do that, I see, and just decided to give the skin to Decapitron. So this is what we get for Tank. Weapon is exactly the same. I don't think he has the other two heads though. So, let's take a look at his other skins. Bloody. This is the prototype for the game. Another prototype. Army. Stealth. And comic. And that takes care of the puppets. Excuse me for a sec. And last but not least, we have the Democ toys. Now, what's interesting about them is that they actually come from their own movie franchise, the Democ toys. So here they are. We'll start with the leader, Baby Oopsie-Daisy. Just like a male doll, and very foul-mouthed in the movies. More foul-mouthed than... Well, actually about the same as Chucky, actually. His weapons are a knife. That's his main go-to. As you can see, just going by this angle, nothing really special about the knives. Get them if you want. I do like the name, though. And then, of course, the amulet. Now, the amulet can do two things. It can either heal your fellow demonic toys, or if you have the perk for it, it can actually heal yourself, which is pretty cool. Okay. He has two special emotes. So, which he actually is a bit famous for, or at least for this one. For this one, the only time he really does any kind of farting is in the sci-fi movie Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys, which a lot of Full Moon fans hated just because of how cheaply it was made. Now, me personally, I enjoyed the movie, but Charles Band, the creator of both movies and the company that made them, had nothing to do with the movie except for giving Sci-Fi the rights to make the movie, including a few of the puppets actually becoming part cyborg, which is pretty interesting since that was actually going to be a toy at some point. They were going to make cyber puppet toys, and then Full Moon was going to do a Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys movie, but I can't remember the reason for it not happening. I think the company ended up going under at first, and then that just got rid of the idea. Although, with what they're setting up now with some of the current movies, it might be happening finally, but we'll have to see. So here's the different skins. Not a whole lot. his regular one, bloody. Then this is from the poster of Demonic Toys, of Dollman versus Demonic Toys. At no point in the movie does he actually wear the pink dress, only on the poster, so it's pretty cool that they chose to do the poster for a couple of the characters' designs. And then, of course, my favorite is the burned Oopsie, which is what he looks like towards the end of the first movie, and I don't think I need to tell you why I like this design so much. Up next, Grizzly Teddy. His weapons are, of course, his claws, his teeth, a baseball bat, and a bear trap that you can just lay down and hope that an enemy ends up running into it. As you can see, different types of baseball bats. Those, unfortunately, you can't swing them like you would with your claws. It is a one where you actually have to charge it up. So, but it is fairly powerful. It causes some good damage. No special emotes for him, unfortunately. Same with a couple others. 3 others, actually. So, only 2 characters have emotes in the Demonic Toys, sadly. And not that many costumes either for any of the Demonic Toys. This is his regular form, which actually it looks like a fusion of what he looks like in the first movie, as well as Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys. His bloody form, which actually looks really good on him. And then his Nightmare form, which is also pretty cool. But because of how pronounced the green is, it can make him pretty visible to any of the human characters, or even the puppets or the totems if you do the wars with that. Mr. Static is pretty much what Tank looks like in Curse of the Puppet Master. Just put that Tank head right onto this body, and that's pretty much Tank. His weapons, as you can see, are his guns. He also has a missile, but the missile isn't as good as you would think. You can easily miss, and it just looks bad if you miss. If you can actually hit, it can cause some pretty good damage. So his regular form, bloody form, chrome, gold, and burned. This, of course, is my favorite because this is how he looks like towards the end of the first movie, and I love it. Sadly, as you can see, no emotes whatsoever, mainly because he can't really do anything. And then Zombie-Toid is not just the weakest of them, but how can I put it? He dies in a hilariously bad way in his first movie appearance, which is Dollman vs. Demonic Toys. He takes the place of Grizzly Teddy. And the way that he dies, they decided to actually put that into the game and have it as an attack, which is him gripping the sword with both hands and charging. In Dollman vs. Demonic Toys, he does that right into an outlet and gets electrocuted to death. His weapons, of course, are his machete in here, which again, you can't really see from here. The toy sword, I will expand on that momentarily. But he also has a gun, which is more of a sniper rifle. It is not good at close distances, but it is pretty good at long distances. Now I'm going to keep the toy sword on for the skins, just so I can explain. So this is how he looks. Bloody, even though he doesn't kill a single person in Dollman vs. Democ Toys. Dogface, which looks just like Major Chip Hazard from Small Soldiers. Then Green Meanie, which of course looks like the old Green Soldier toys. And then Toy Soldier, who the sword belongs to. Now, the Toy Soldier actually isn't a Democ toy. In the first movie, the Toy Soldier is actually alive due to the main character's unborn son. The plot for Democ Toys is a demon wants to become human. 50 years ago, he tried to be born, but he was a stillborn, and so he ended up buried in a toy warehouse was built over his grave. He possessed a bunch of toys. Once blood dripped into the area of where he died, he brought the toys to life and sought to be born again. And the main character, Judith Gray, just so happens to be pregnant. Well, her son ends up possessing this toy soldier towards the end of the movie, and throughout the movie, the toy soldier and the kid, as he's called in the movie, are at war with each other in the literal sense of the word, but also in the metaphorical sense. Meaning, Judith has a few visions and dreams of the kid and her unborn child actually playing the card game War. Yeah. So he ends up taking possession of the toy soldier towards the end of the movie and actually fights the kid. So that's pretty cool that they added him. He is a part of the new update. The music, as you can tell, has changed. And I believe that's the theme song for Democ Toys. Okay. Jack Attack. His only attack is his mouth. Yeah. Only his mouth. He can also hide in a box, which moves at a snail's pace. And considering even outside of the box, he moves at a snail's pace unless you use the run. The only reason this even exists is mainly because this is a part of the character. He's a jack-in-the-box. It doesn't really do anything. If you're doing the 3 versus 1 as a human, it makes noise, which, if the human is dumb enough, if the person is dumb enough to go and check it out and get close to the box without shooting it, Jack Attack can do a sneak attack within it. But that's pretty much all the box itself really does. The box is pretty much useless. No real emotes except for the laugh, and he does a lot of that in the movie, so I think that's why they gave it to him in the game. Then, of course, all 4 of these are really good skins. This is his basic form, his bloody form, and I love where they have the blood, mainly on the mouth, because that's where he attacks. How he looks like in the Dollman vs. Democ Toys poster. He doesn't even look like this in the movie. He looks like this in the movie. He just looks like this on the poster, which is pretty funny. And then, of course, Blackjack. And as you can see, he actually does have a tail. And that's because he's kind of like a snake slug kind of a thing when he's outside of his box. He also, in the movies, has a little toy rattle, which is hilarious. And then up next is the evolved form of Grizzly Teddy. in the movie, when Grizzly Teddy ends up getting wounded, he ends up growing into a werewolf bear called Monster Teddy. Now, he is pretty cool. His weapons, of course, are his claws, his mouth, but he also has the ability to break down doors. Now, even though it gives you a weapons option, all it does is just change the color of his eyes. It does not change anything else. So as you can see, the default, which is the dark green, red, crazy, animal, space monster, glowing green, which is my personal favorite, and then a red glow. He does have interesting skins though. His regular skin, bloody skin, which is actually pretty cool on him. Black bear, which actually makes him look terrifying, and it puts blood on, a little bit of blood on him. And then space monster. So that's what all these characters look like. Every single thing has different kinds of perks. This whole thing is new. It used to have just create and scrap, but now if you have duplicates, you can delete the duplicates. And if you have commons, which are gray versions of these, you can scrap them if you have a lot of them. The yellow ones are the legendary ones. And then of course you have rare, unique,